Hello and welcome to yet another YouTube video here on this channel. I still have some crazy here. I still am struggling a little with dizziness and balance issues, but we have another YouTube video, and this time it is actually a productivity news video, and there are a lot of news to cover, and let's just jump right into it with the first one. Uh, so most of the news I have here today is like smaller improvements. I think some of them are important, but the last Supernotes thing here is quite exciting, but more on that later. So capacities continues to improve. The first thing they've done is a written PDF viewer. So the PDF viewer is much better. I don't normally use a lot of PDFs like this in my note-taking apps. I mainly store designs, which often are PDF files, but they don't need a really good PDF viewer. But they have completely rewritten the PDF viewer to enhance the performance and usability of it. So here you can see some images from the PDF viewer. So they have made it a lot better, which for a lot of people is something they really value and something that is really important to their note-taking experience. And I think this is a good update to do now that like capacities is quite stable. They have gone and done the whole like offline first thing. So it feels like the timing for improving a PDF reader is great for capacities. The second like update here is a new AI editor to interact with your content. So AI and object-based note-taking are two things that often go hand in hand. A lot of people, me included, think that AI will perform better with object-based note-taking. So they have gone ahead and then they've changed their AI editor a little. Previously, you had to use a chat interface. Now you can directly interact with um, text inside of your Capacities account just by highlighting the text and getting an AI editor like you see here. So Capacities is doing something similar to Reflect. I think Reflect was the first to do it, and like the whole thing right here actually looks a lot like the AI editor in Reflect. I mean, there isn't much you can change from one AI editor to another, but it is similar to Reflect. So now you can like interact with your text, interact with your blocks without going through the chat interface, which again is a small improvement, but something I think a lot of people will benefit from. We have unified data view headers for collection tags, objects, and queries. I won't go too deep into this one, but one thing I will go into is the calendar integration that is in beta for Capacities Believers. So they have a believer plan, which is a little bit more pricey. The only thing you get from that believer plan is one, you get to support an application, which I am definitely a big fan of. Like for the applications I'm using, I would probably pay. I think in this case it's one or two, $3 more, something like that. But I would personally pay up to $5 more just to support an application I really do like. But you also get new features before everyone else, and what you're getting here is the calendar integration. If everything goes to plan, the calendar integration will be released to Pro plans in March, so later this month. This is a little bit of an older news because as I talked about, I've been sick, so I haven't been able to make the video. But we have calendar integrations. So you can read more about it in the documentation. So here you can see a little bit more about the calendar integration. I really like how it looks. This might still change a little bit uh, because it is still an early access feature, but I am liking how it looks. So here you can see the event popping up here in the meeting as well. So this looks like a really interesting way of doing a calendar integration. Um, I think more and more applications will have to have some sort of calendar integration or some way to make your different applications speak to one another just because of AI. But that is a subject for another video. Calendar integration, I think this looks really interesting. Excited to see when this fully rolls out, and once it does, I will definitely just make a full new video on capacities. Let's go to Craft. Craft is continuing. As I said, I think I said it back in December. I also said it when the first Craft update came this year that Craft will spend this year trying to make the application easier to use, better performance, and just some small tweaks because they released their 3.0 late last year, and now they're trying to fix a lot of bugs and updates and just make the overall application better. And we have increased block limits. So over the past few months, they've made a lot of improvement that has allowed them to increase the block limit from 175,000 to 250,000, which is a lot of blocks. I'm not sure anyone will ever reach that many blocks, but now you can. You have on-device folder support, so this looks really interesting. This is something I saw earlier on X. Take your document asset fully offline. Now you can download all linked assets within top level folder for seamless access without internet connection. So I can download folders and have everything stored on my device. So simply select on my Mac, iPad, iPhone, and everything inside the folder structure. This is important, including images, files, and other assets will be stored locally. I really like this way of doing it, having to manually download things like images, files, and other assets because they tend to take a lot of space on your device. So I really like this way of doing it. Nested folders are included in the download but cannot be downloaded separately. So if you have a folder within another folder, that can't be downloaded separately, but if you download the top folder, it will download everything else as well. And you have iPad Sketch improvements. This is something I'm really excited about. I really want sketching abilities in my note-taking applications. I have it in my current one, and that is one of the reasons why I actually went with that application. I like to have the ability to sketch things out as well as just take notes. So improving the iPad Sketch blocks is an important thing. You have new and updated templates. You have fully localized web and Windows app. And Craft web and Windows apps are now available in 8 new languages. Here are the languages. So I will also link all of this down below, and there are 100 other improvements and fixes. A lot of quality of life improvements is coming to Craft this year. I think quality of life improvements will be like the whole year for Craft. Apart from that, I think Craft is doing a great job at making the right improvements and just making the overall experience better. So last up, we have Supernotes VR, which I'm not sure what to think about. So I'm not that into VR headsets, at least not yet. I struggle with motion sickness. have balance issues. I have migraines. I have problems with my eyesight. So VR headsets aren't for me, at least not yet. And I also struggle with motion sickness. When I have tested them out, which is a known issue to at least some people. So I am not that into VR headsets, but there wasn't there hasn't been a pro productivity application or note-taking application, at least on the Meta Quests. And productivity hasn't been like the main use case for that headset. It has been that for the Apple Vision Pro, but the Apple Vision Pro is just too expensive. Like most of us can't afford spending that much money on a VR headset, at least not yet. Maybe in the future, like who knows, maybe the future will be VR headsets, but at least for now, most of us can't afford it. So having the ability to have note-taking applications on the Meta Quest headset is exciting. And they also talk about it a little bit in the blog post, why Meta Quest, not Apple Vision Pro. With recent price drops, Meta Quest headsets are becoming an affordable and useful way to enjoy VR at home and the office. So and they also anticipate that productivity will boom in virtual reality as more of these headsets become common. So, as these headsets become more common, I think an application like Supernotes, like note-taking applications, productivity applications, like a substitute for your desktop PC or your laptop that you bring with you. Uh, it might happen, probably not in this year, but at some point it might happen. But no matter how you think of it, no matter what you think about like VR headsets, I think this is really exciting and fun. Um, and here you can see an example of it. I watched the whole video as well, and the application looks really beautiful. Like Supernotes looks really beautiful everywhere, from their mobile application to the web version to the Mac app. I really like the experience of the application. The Android app is looking great as well. I've tested that out as well, and the Meta Quest app looks really good as well. So it's not much more to be said about this. Like, it is really, really exciting to see something like this. Will it become mainstream? I'm not sure. Do I think that it is fun? It definitely is. Will I end up buying a VR headset? Probably not yet, but at some point I will end up picking one up. But that covers it for today's video. A lot of fun, exciting news. If you have any thoughts, any comments, leave them down below. I will try to get to them as soon as I can. It might be a little bit longer just because of the whole, like, not or the whole, like, the world spinning, not being able to have good balance, all of that stuff. So it might take a day or two before I can get back to your comment, but I will try to get back to you as soon as I can.